Hi y'all, it's been a while on this channel. It's been like 6 years since I last posted on here. If you're not familiar with me, my name's Samantha. I am a 26-year-old mama of 3, and I am a wife. I have been married for going on 6 years. My husband and I are high school sweethearts, been together since sophomore year of high school, and we just celebrated 10 years together. So, last time I was on this channel, I did a video on my oldest son, birth story. He was 2 at the time. He's 8 now. And we have 2 more children now. I also did a video about my daughter, Diela, who we unfortunately lost to a rare birth defect called anencephaly. So I talked about that story of how we found out about her diagnosis, how we navigated that loss, how we navigated just learning what anencephaly is. If you're not familiar, it is a terminal birth defect. It is not compatible with life, so like we did lose her. It was inevitable. So now I thought it would be nice to come on here and give you my 3rd child or 2nd living child's birth story to kind of kick us back off. And a little backstory, I stopped posting on here just because, I just get in my head and I'm like, why am I posting? Like, no one's watching my videos, I'm not getting a following, you know, this and that. Like, there's so many things that's going to get in your head and try to attack what you have going. And unfortunately, I did let that stop me from pursuing my content creation. But we back, baby. We back. Because as I've gotten older, I've realized, like, they're going to talk regardless. Like, haters are going to hate regardless. And that doesn't affect my day-to-day life. You can say what you want about me, but it doesn't affect me. I'm still going to wake up every day. I'm still going to put my big girl panties on the same way y'all do. So, why not post? What am I losing by posting? You know what I mean? So, welcome back, y'all. And we're going to dive into my son's birth story. I'm sorry if you hear commotion going on. My brother is out there cooking, and apparently he made the fire alarm go off. So, yay. And I'm also sorry if you hear like the fan or any other background noise. We live in Texas, y'all. It's hot. It's hot already, and we aren't even like halfway through summer yet. So, without further ado, let's start this story. So, my 2nd living child's name is Cohen James Hayes. That is his first and middle names. He has 2 middle names. He was born at 35 weeks and 6 days. Let's back up a little bit to that though. Prior to him coming at 35 weeks and 6 days, he tried coming at 33 weeks. I was hospitalized for 5 days due to contractions and starting to dilate. They did give me medication in the hospital when I was on the antepartum unit to try to stop my contractions. They did slow them down, but they did not completely stop. So I was there for 5 days just to make sure I didn't progress anymore. And also they do a stress test on the babies to make sure they're not getting like too stressed out. And they also do another test where they check 5 things: that's movement, fluid, if they're like practice swallowing, and 2 other things that I can't quite remember. And that little stinker on those tests while we were in the hospital at 33 weeks, he would not move for them. He would not practice swallowing, and he kept failing that test, so that made mom have to be in the hospital for longer. Finally, they got the contraction slowed down enough to where I wasn't dilating anymore and progressing anymore, so I was able to go home. So fast forward to the day he was born. I get up that morning about 7 a.m. I feel fine, nothing out of the ordinary, no discharge, TMI, but it's a birth story, what do you expect? But no discharge, no cramping. It was a perfectly fine day. I get my oldest son up, I take him over to my mom's house so she could babysit him, because my husband and I were on our way to a routine checkup for this baby. So we get to the doctor's office, get checked in, we're sitting in the waiting room, everything's fine. Like I said, like I feel fine all the way up to the doctor's office. On the drive there, ate breakfast, I was fine. We get checked in, and it was quite a wait that day. They were quite busy that day. So I'm in the waiting room, and all of a sudden I start feeling like crampy in my stomach. I nudge my husband, I'm like, I feel like crampy. I don't know what's going on, but like something's not right. And he was like, okay, well, you're about to see the doctor. You can tell your doctor about it, and she can like look at you and make sure everything's good. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. Like, and at this point, I'm like debating. I'm like, should I go tell the receptionist that like maybe I'm having contractions? Maybe I'm like just cramping. I don't know. And he was like, no, you're about to get called. Like, we've been here for a while already. They're probably about to call you. I was like, oh yeah, you're right. So I get called back, go through vitals. Everything is fine in vitals. At this time, I'm like, these are contractions. Like, they're coming and going. My stomach's getting tight. Like, they're starting to be uncomfortable. Like, these are definitely contractions now. So we go in the room. The nurse takes my assessment. She's like, how are you doing? I was like, I'm like cramping or having contractions. Like, something's going on. But like, it's starting to get uncomfortable. Like, not like necessarily painful, but like it's getting uncomfortable to where I can't really sit still. I'm like moving around a little bit. And she's like, okay, well, I'll have your doctor come in and she'll look at you and we'll go from there. So before the doctor even like comes in, the nurse goes and tells her like, hey, she might be having like contractions and stuff, and given my history on how I was just at the antepartum unit in the hospital, my doctor told the nurse to go ahead and hook her up to monitors and let's see what's going on here. So they hooked me up to monitors, and as I'm waiting for my doctor to come in, I'm getting off the table and I'm like swaying back and forth and kind of moving around. I'm like, no, these are definitely contractions now. They're starting to get painful, definitely uncomfortable. I told my husband, I'm like, these are contractions, honey. And he's like, okay, well, they're gonna come back in. You're hooked up. Like, that's all we can do. You know how husbands are. Like, like, I don't know what else you want to happen right now. But he's also like very supportive husband. So he's like, okay, what can I do for you? You mean like rub you, whatever? And I'm like, no, let me just kind of like move around a little bit. So finally, the doctor comes in. Her name was Karen, by the way. I said, Karen, these hurt. Like, I'm having contractions. These hurt. So she looked and she's like, you are having contractions, but they're only like every like 2 minutes apart, and they're not that strong. So she was like, do you want me to check you? She's like, I would prefer not to check you because you are just at antepartum, and I know that you are starting to dilate. So if I check you, like, I don't want it to disturb anything down there and make you dilate more, because sometimes like the more checks you can get can like disturb your cervix and make you dilate more, especially if you're early. They really want to like wave away from that, or stray away from that. That way they don't make you dilate more, So I told her, I said, no, these hurt, Karen. Like, let's go ahead and check me. So she lays me down and she popped her head up. I look at her. She goes, you're 8 centimeters dilated. I said, you're fucking, excuse my language, but I said, you're kidding me. I said, you're lying. And she said, I wouldn't lie about that, honey. And I was like, what the heck? So then I go to the bathroom and I wipe, and sure enough, there's my bloody show right there. And I come back and I was like, well, I just had my bloody show. She goes, yeah. She was like, don't go home. Don't go anywhere. Go straight to the hospital. She was like, I hope you have your bags. If you don't, like, don't go home and get them. Because she was like, you're 8 centimeters and your bag of water is bulging right now. And I was like, okay. So as she's like getting my, like, not discharge paperwork, but like getting my paperwork and all that, to where I can leave the doctor's office, she told me, she's like, I'm going to call the hospital. I'm going to let them know that you're on your way right now. Just go straight over there. You're going to have a baby today. And I was still so shocked and dumbfounded because, like, yes, I was, like, starting to be in pain. Yes, I was uncomfortable. Yes, I knew that I was having contractions. But 8 centimeters? I said, girl, I'm 8 centimeters? And she's like, yeah, you're 8 centimeters. I said, are you sure? Like, I was like, this hurts. But, like, I don't think it hurts like 8 centimeters hurt. You know what I mean? And so I called my mom because she's watching my oldest, and I was like, hey, I'm in labor. And she's like, no, you're not. Stop playing with me. I'm like, no, actually, like, I'm in labor. I'm 8 centimeters. And she goes, what? She's like, you didn't know? And I was like, I didn't feel anything this morning. I was like, I just now started, like, cramping and, like, having contractions. Like, I felt fine. Like, I had no idea that I was dilating more. No idea that I was, like, in labor, anything. So I'm as shocked. And then I'm walking out to my husband's car, and he's all happy, he's all smiling, he's like, oh, we don't have a baby today, And I called my boss, because at the time I was still working. I called her and I said, hey, I'm 8 centimeters dilated, about to go to the hospital. She was like, you're 8 centimeters. I'll say, yeah. I'll explain later, but I gotta go to the hospital, so go ahead and start my maternity leave. And she was like, yeah, girl, go, 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 go. So I get to the hospital, and the way that our hospital is set up is like, you have a parking lot that's like down a little bit, that you have to like walk up to the front door. And my husband was like, do you want me to drop you off at the front door? Because obviously I'm 8 centimeters, my bag of water is bulging, it can pop at any time, you know? But no, me being me, I'm like, oh no, just park in the parking lot and I'll walk up with you. So he does that, and we're like walking up like casually. Obviously like it's uncomfortable and it's like painful, but I'm just, if you looked at me, you would not know that I was in active labor and that I was 8 centimeters dilated. We go up, there's a mom checking in for her scheduled C-section, and so I like stand behind her at the receptionist desk when you first get into labor and delivery, and they look at me and they're like, oh, yes ma'am, do you need to check in what's going on? Because I'm just standing there. And I was like, oh, my doctor told me to come over because I'm 8 centimeters. And they're like, oh, yeah, she called. And so like they're moving fast. They get me in a room. They asked the mom who was checking in for a C-section if they can go ahead and get me checked in. And of course the mom's like, oh, 8 centimeters, like, go ahead, she can go first. And I'm like, no, y'all can like finish your check-in. But they're looking at me and they're like, no, we need to get you like back. So they rushed me back to a room. Skip triage, obviously. I mean, they knew a baby about to come out. They start going to like get IVs, this and that. They're like, do you want epidural? Like asking me all the questions, because if I wanted an epidural, they needed to go ahead and get it ordered now before it's too late. So everything just moved like super fast at that point. And then finally I'm all checked in, got my IV, I'm in a gown, I'm on the bed, and I'm like on hands and knees at this point, because I mean at this point this shit hurts, you know. So I'm like swaying back and forth, and then the nurse comes in and she was like, oh, because your son is 35 weeks 6 days, the way my hospital does it is if your child is before 36 weeks, NICU automatically has to come in and evaluate them. So she said, NICU's going to be here when you give birth. And we're also going to have a respiratory therapist come in when you give birth, just to check him out and make sure everything's good. If everything's good, you can keep him in the room with you. But it's just as a precaution. So I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, oh, okay, well, like, he's almost 36 weeks, so he should be fine, because one more day and they wouldn't even come to evaluate him, right? That's what I'm thinking. But NICU comes in the room, and it's time to push now. They have everything set up, and the doctor actually let my husband catch my son coming out, which was like so magical, because he's like, his clothes on, he's such a proud dad, and he's down there like catching his son come out. And like, if any of your child fathers are able to like do that, I totally recommend that, because that's like the first touch that your child receives is like from their dad, and I don't know, it's just special to me. As he's coming out, my water, like, he almost got delivered in the bag of water, but as I'm pushing, the water bricked everywhere. His head was actually delivered still completely in the sack, but when his shoulder started passing through is when it broke. I love it. I have pictures of him like starting to come out like in the water sack and stuff. Shout out to my nurse too, because she quickly like grabbed my phone and she's like, hey girl, you want me to take some pictures and some videos for you? And I'm like, yes, please, like, I want that. And she's like all down there like taking pictures and stuff, like she's not embarrassed, not ashamed, like nothing. But now I look back on those pictures, and those are some of my favorite pictures, because I got to see like my husband catching him and things like that. But anyways, he starts coming out, and the doctor knows that he has the cord wrapped around his neck and he's purpley. So the doctor's like, okay dad, like scoot out the way, let me grab him. So the doctor starts like unwrapping his cord around his neck, and then the doctor put him on me. Of course, like NICU and respiratory automatically rush over. I was able to hold him for a minute on my chest, but then they quickly, like, dad cut his cord, they whisked him away to the incubator to go evaluate him. They're yelling at all these numbers. I'm just sitting there, I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Is my baby okay? Why can't I hold him? Because with my firstborn, I was able to like keep him on my chest, but obviously when NICU and respiratory has to evaluate them, they have to take him over to get evaluated, get his APGAR score, all of those things. All those things I know now, but as a, how old was I, like 21-year-old mom, I didn't know what was going on. I was like, why are y'all taking my baby? So then they determine that he is going to need to go to the NICU. He does need some help. His like body temperature and blood sugar and things like that were low, so he does need to go down and get evaluated more. And as long as his blood sugar was good after all of their checks, they told me that he could come back to me. So I was like, okay. So they let me hold him on my chest for 10 minutes, and then they whisked him away to the NICU. And I told my husband, I was like, no, go with him. Like, I'm fine, I'm good, don't worry about me, go with my baby. So that started a 26-day NICU stay. Unfortunately, his blood sugar was not the only issue. He started having what's called Brady's, which is a event where his heart rate drops, his oxygen drops at the same time. Basically, he like forgot to breathe, and NICU babies, or like early babies, preemies, that's the word I'm looking for, preemies who come early, they sometimes forget to breathe, and so their oxygen rate and their heart rate starts going down as well. And that's what was happening. And in order to get released from the NICU, they have to go 7 days without a event, is what we call it, without a Brady, with good blood sugar. They have to be taking all of their feeding by bottle or by breath, by mouth, like without a feeding tube. So that started a 26-day NICU stay for him, which was a journey itself. If y'all want a video on the NICU stay, I can do a separate video on that. But now he is a healthy 4-year-old. He is our brave child. Cohen means brave, and he lives up to that name. That child does not know fear at all. He will climb up on everything and try to jump off. He is our feral child. We call him our Sour Patch Kid, because one minute he's like, and the next minute he's loving on you. And he's so sweet and cuddly. He's so smart. And the child that he is now makes me forget all about that NICU stay, all about that birth experience, all about the hospital stay, because he's so worth it. And I do it again and again, over and over. And he is also our rainbow baby. He came after we lost our daughter, so there's something special about that. I feel like she sent him at the exact time that we needed him. I feel like he is exactly who we needed after that loss, and he just fills our life with so much joy. He is such a comedian. He's always trying to make everyone laugh, and always like checking up on people, saying, "Mommy, you okay?" and giving me hugs, and just doing like little silly faces to make me laugh. So that is all about Cohen, our 4-year-old. He'll be 5 in December. Next video, we'll do a first video on my daughter, London, and we'll do all things related to her. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and come back and see me next time. Bye, y'all.